In the vast martial world, where power, schemes, and blood intertwine into endless waves of chaos, the name Dongfang Bubai had long become the absolute symbol of cruelty, mystery, and invincibility. He, leader of the Sun Moon Holy Cult, held the lives of tens of thousands in his grasp. A single cold glance could make enemies tremble. A mere flick of his hand could dye 10 miles of rivers and mountains in blood. Legends in the martial realm told that his skills had transcended human limits, reaching the realm of ghostly and godlike, moving so fast the naked eye could not follow. Only flashes of blood, silenced screams, and lifeless bodies hitting the ground. But absolute power always breeds betrayal and hatred. Ren Wuxing, former cult master who once ruled the land, after years of imprisonment in a lightless dungeon, had returned, not to negotiate, but to reclaim the throne with blood and corpses. In his bloodshot eyes burned a single desire: to tear apart the traitor and crush everything he possessed. At Ren Wuxing's side stood Linghu Chong, a swordsman as free as the wind, yet now his gaze was cold as steel, fresh from a blood-forged furnace. He knew this was no mere struggle for dominance, but a slaughter that would shake the martial world, where every sword stroke and every palm strike would be paid for with flesh, blood, and life. That evening, the crimson sunset poured over the mountains like a sea of blood. 3 figures stood tall like peaks of heaven, stepping into the grand hall of the Sun Moon Holy Cult. The massive doors creaked open, echoing like the drums of death. On the high throne, Dongfang Bubai sat straight-backed, his robe as red as freshly spilled blood, long black hair tied neatly, his gaze deep as an abyss, calm yet seething with killing intent. Ren Wuxing, you finally crawled out of the rotting corpse of your past. His voice was smooth as silk, but hidden within was a cold blade. Dongfang Bubai, today I will rip your heart out to repay the blood debt of years past. Ren Wuxing's words struck like nails sealing a coffin. No more words were needed. 2 surging auras erupted, like storms reeking of blood, sweeping away every breath in the hall. The battle began. Dongfang Bubai moved like a crimson flash, his eerie footwork turning him into a blood phantom gliding through the air. In his hands, fine steel needles infused with deadly internal force pierced stone and steel alike, each one a streak of red light followed by a chilling whistle. A guard too close was struck in the forehead before he could react. Blood spurted in a crimson jet, his body collapsing without a sound. Ren Wuxing roared, the star-absorbing great art pushed to its peak. The air twisted, a whirlwind surged, pulling dust, debris, and the cries of those whose blood and chi were being drained. His palms struck like rolling thunder, each blast shattering stone walls and pulverizing the floor. But Dongfang Bubai was too fast. His form vanished into the air, leaving only the cold scent of blood and a frigid wind in his wake. Linghu Chong entered the fray. His long sword flashed like lightning, splitting the sky. His swordplay was as fluid as water, as venomous as a serpent, endlessly shifting, every strike aimed at a vital point. Swordlight clashed with crimson silk, sparks flying like blood-stained fireworks. Dongfang Bubai no longer evaded. He laughed, a sound like the wailing of ghosts, then accelerated beyond human sight. Crimson needles rained down like a bloody storm, piercing walls, beams, and the heads, throats, and chests of the unlucky nearby. The sickening sound of flesh being torn, mingled with screams that froze the blood. Ren Wuxing seized the moment, launching a palm strike that blocked Dongfang Bubai's path. His internal force surged like a tidal wave, shattering 2 massive stone pillars. A needle buried deep in his shoulder sent hot blood streaming down, yet he roared like a beast and pressed the attack. The air grew thick with the stench of blood and smoke. Rubble and splintered wood rained down. Red light from the sunset poured through holes in the shattered roof, staining the blood-smeared stone floor, turning the hall into a sacrificial altar for the god of war. The clash dragged on. Metallic clashes, explosions of colliding inner force, pounding footsteps, and cries of pain merged into a symphony of death. Dongfang Bubai's eyes gleamed with murderous light, but deep within was the realization. Today, he faced 2 wolves that would tear him apart, even at the cost of their lives. A lightning-fast thrust from Linghu Chong tore through the crimson robe, blood quickly spreading. Ren Wuxing seized the chance, his palm like a hammer smashing into Dongfang Bubai's back. Bones cracked with a sharp snap, a stream of blood spraying in a dark red arc. But Dongfang Bubai did not fall. He roared, pouring all his internal force into one final strike. Hundreds of crimson needles exploded outward, slicing through flesh and bone. Blood dripped from Ling Huchang's arm. Ren Wuxing took another needle to the chest, yet both stood their ground, eyes blazing like twin torches in a stormy night. Then came the final moment. Ling Huchang's sword light and Ren Wuxing's sinister palm force converged into a single overwhelming surge of killing intent, crashing down like heavenly thunder. The explosion shook the heavens. Pillars shattered, walls collapsed, smoke and blood fused into a red downpour. When the dust settled, Dongfang Bubai's crimson figure knelt on the ground, eyes still burning with defiant pride, but breath extinguished. Blood trickled from the corner of his mouth, joining the pool beneath him, so red it made the sunset pale. In the silence after the storm, slow footsteps echoed. Ling Huchang sheathed his sword, blood dripping from its edge, his gaze deep, neither joyful nor satisfied. Ren Wuxing stood amid the ruins, tilting his head back to laugh, the sound like a demon's hymn to blood. The martial world would have a new ruler, but the stench of today's slaughter would linger forever, a tragic epic carved into its history.